Why do some people seem to repeatedly fall into toxic relationships while others manage to walk away without looking back? The answer lies in how we learn to love. You cling to empty promises, to sweet words spoken at the right moments, and ignore the reality of their actions. This is not love. This is the illusion of change. The problem is that real change does not happen because you want it to. It doesn't happen because you love enough. It doesn't happen because you have sacrificed yourself to the point of having nothing left. True change only happens when the person recognizes the problem and has a genuine desire to transform. And let's be honest, how many times has this person promised to change? How many times have you heard excuses? How many times have you believed that this time would be different? If nothing changes, it's because this relationship was never meant to change. And accepting that hurts. It hurts because it means giving up hope. It hurts because it means facing the emptiness left by something that consumed so much of your life. It hurts because it means admitting that you invested time, energy, and love in something that never had a future. In our early years of life, our brains are programmed to associate safety and well-being with how we receive affection. If we grow up in an environment where love and care are always available in a healthy way, we learn that relationships are safe and trustworthy. But if affection comes mixed with coldness, rejection, inconsistency, or even abuse, our minds learn something else. That love is unstable, unpredictable, something we have. And there lies the problem. If you grew up in an environment where love and pain went hand in hand, your mind internalized this dynamic. Who one day makes you feel loved and the next ignores you, your brain recognizes this pattern. It associates this cycle of uncertainty with what it learned to call, this is the danger of the emotional trap. You are not just in love with the person, you are attached to what they represent for you. They awaken something old within you, a familiar feeling, an unconscious desire to prove that this time you will be enough, that this time love will win, that this time rejection will turn into acceptance. And this leads us to one of the biggest reasons why it is so difficult to leave a toxic relationship: the fear of loss. There is a psychological mechanism that acts like an addiction and makes the suffering within this relationship seem in some way rewarding. Have you ever noticed that no matter how painful this relationship is, there are moments when everything seems perfect? Those rare instances when the other person is exactly who you wanted them to be, when it feels like everything is finally going to change. If the other person were cruel all the time, leaving would be easy. But they give you small, random doses of affection, making you keep trying, always hoping for the next emotional reward. And the most perverse thing about this mechanism is that it trains you to accept less and less. This relationship was never about love. It was about control. The toxic person, consciously or unconsciously, understood that keeping you trapped doesn't require constant affection, but rather the right dosage of warmth and coldness, enough to keep you trying. And accepting that is painful, but necessary. Because as long as you keep playing this game, your identity will dissolve. You will lose sight of what you deserve. You will be slowly conditioned to accept less, to expect less, to be less. And the worst part is that often the other person still makes you believe that the fault is yours. You notice something wrong in the relationship, perhaps a strange behavior, a contradiction, a lie, and confront the other person. But instead of taking responsibility, they flip the situation. They accuse you of exaggeration, paranoia, of creating problems where none exist. You begin to doubt yourself. You replay conversations in your head, try to remember details, seek evidence to validate your feelings. But with each new confrontation, the distortion of reality intensifies. And the cruelest part of all is that often the victim begins to believe these accusations, taking on guilt that isn't theirs and carrying an emotional burden they should never have to bear. The goal of these manipulations is not just to deflect responsibility, but to put you in a state of confusion and emotional exhaustion. Because when you are emotionally drained, it becomes easier to control you. When your self-esteem is shattered, you accept any crumbs of affection as a reward. When your perception of reality has been altered, you stop trusting yourself and start trusting the other person blindly. And this leads us to an even deeper question. Why do you continue to accept all of this? If it is already so clear that this relationship is destroying you, why is the fear of leaving still so great? The answer lies in one of the most powerful factors that keeps a person trapped in a toxic relationship: the fear of loneliness and the illusion that love can change someone.